What up, y'all? Welcome back for another episode of the Rolling the Bottom podcast. Hope you're doing well whenever you're listening to this one. This is my fourth attempt trying to film this podcast. It gets so frustrating because I just sound like crap. I don't know where to go. Trying to condense everything. Gosh, dude, I'm not even sure why I'm talking about my struggles. It's always a struggle with this podcast because I'm trying to make it good. I'm not trying to make it trash and blah. But we're here. NASCAR weekend at Gateway. Connor Zilisch gets the win. Ninth win this season. He's locked into the playoffs. Well, gosh, guys, of course he's locked into the playoffs. He wraps up the regular season championship with an additional 15 points. We'll talk about him at the end. One of the focus in this Cup Series race because Denny Hamlin gets the win. This is Denny Hamlin's 59th career win. This is also his 56th career win as a Toyota driver. He ties Kyle Busch for the most wins in a Toyota. This is also Toyota's 200th win in the NASCAR Cup Series. This is Hamlin's 5th win this season, a serious most. Denny Hamlin having 59 victories. He talks about how he wants to get to 60. He's one win away of that when there's still 8 races left in the NASCAR Cup Series season. Man, Hamlin, I mean, look, we can talk about it. It's impressive what he was doing at age 44. This race, no mistakes by the team. A lot of the guys he was racing for this win with made mistakes. Misfortune for them. Hamlin capitalizes. Late race restart with some guys on old tires like Keselowski. Hamlin executes and just leads the final 25 laps. Impressive what they're doing. Hamlin looks really good. They look really relaxed. When nothing's going wrong so far, right? Everything looks good. He gets to go to Bristol and just try to go win that race and get those playoff points. They can kind of focus and look forward to the round of 12, man. I didn't pick Hamlin to make the championship floor because of just all the misfortune that he has and things out of his control. And also, you got to think about the championship floor and winning that championship. It's like its own thing. You go and work your butt off through the season and then the playoffs, first 3 rounds, and then you get to the championship, and it's just like, it's like, oh, I may blow a tire, may blow the engine, bad pit stop, and I may lose the championship because of that. So I don't really look too far into that, but Hamlin's looking really good. He did talk about, I'm kind of getting this hint, Hamlin signed this 2-year contract a while back, and he's like, it's most likely going to be my last, because he pretty much said that's what he's most comfortable signing with. But now it really sounds like it's official. These next 2, he'll have the rest of this year and 2 more years. So 2027 will be Denny Hamlin's farewell year. And I think what he brought up very simply is that he doesn't want to leave the sport looking like just another guy. He wants to leave the sport knowing that if he wanted to go racing their year, he could just be just as competitive. He wants to, leave the sport knowing he can compete still. And it's impressive because we see a lot of drivers, Harvick, his final year, like another guy, struggle. Of course, Jimmy Johnson, even Tony Stewart, he won one race in his final year, but still just wasn't the same guy. Hamlin looking really good at 44 years old. Hamlin poked the crowd again, though, too, and, some fans are uproared by it. They feel like his, post-race comments to fans are all forced or it's cringy, corny, but Hamlin said you can either get on the bandwagon or get run over by it. I love it, guys. I'm going to miss Denny Hamlin because of just his personality. We need more drivers with big personality and just willing to say whatever they feel. A lot of these drivers are too vanilla in the sense they have some cool, they bring a lot of emotion to celebration, but they don't say much. It's just like, oh, another win. Like, that's like what I get when Hampshire Motorsports wins. They just think, oh, it's another win for us. Good for us. Like, oh, I'm happy for my team. Like, come on, give us freaking more. Give us some more, man. And now I guess I can call myself a NASCAR media member. I like when people say stuff because it gives us stuff to talk about. So it's beautiful. So congratulations to Denny Hamlin. We'll see how far this run goes and how much more momentum, or if the momentum can continue for Denny Hamlin. Guys, this race was, get right into the talking point of the race. Before we get into, the playoff drivers and some of the key moments. Tires were a big talking point. Same tire they brought to Iowa. I felt like dirty air was still a factor. And Denny Hamlin kind of brought up on his press conference that the reason we probably saw more passing than we usually would see in this race was because we had a lot of cautions and through a lot of tire strategy. The time when people pit was a lot different. So you got times where a guy was, on 15 lap newer tires versus a guy he was trying to go compete or pass. So he passed him, right? So we saw some more passing than maybe we would have saw it. If it was, if we saw this race just be green from each stage, we probably wouldn't see much passing because it didn't look like we saw some battle there. I think it would have been in stage 2 there where Hamlin was trying to get around Logano. He looked like he was faster, but Logano was just, running this certain lane, and there was nothing Hamlin could do. Here comes Bell. Bell gets closer to Hamlin and Chris and Logano because Hamlin's trying to get around Logano, who's slower. Well, Bell gets past Hamlin because Hamlin's held up by Logano, and then Bell still can't get around Logano. So there was some frustration. I know fans were showing their frustration there on social media. So I felt like this race, I will say it was a very enjoyable race because we got a lot of playoff drama. I think that kind of distracted you from what the overall race was. So I'm not even sure where we should go with the playoff drama. Did want to read some stats though. So there was 10 cautions for 52 laps, and there was 16 lead changes. There was 9 different leaders. Hamlin led the most laps at 75 laps. Bubba Wallace led the second most laps at 73 laps. Kyle Larson led the third most laps at 52 laps. Chase Briscoe led 15 laps, the fourth most. Keselowski 13 most. Blaney led the sixth most at 5. Elliott led the seventh most at 4. Logano led the eighth most at 2, and then Ty Gibbs led the ninth most at 1. Now, I think we're going to focus on the playoff drivers. Now, at the end of this race, got a little interesting. Hamlin was leading. Logano was second. They come down pit road. Final stop. If Hamlin makes a mistake, it could cost him the chance to win this race. They both come off pit road. Hamlin's leading over Logano, but then Chase Briscoe pit before them on 2-tire strategy, takes the lead. And then Hamlin was able to run down Briscoe and pass Briscoe right before we got a caution for Ty Dillon. Ty Dillon blew like a brake rotor. Luckily, he blew it before he got into turn 1, so he didn't just obliterate the wall and have a big hit. But what was interesting about that, if that would have went green there was a good chance because a couple guys stayed out. Keselowski was leading, but Dow was second. Byron, I'm not sure if Byron he was running third at the time of the caution. I don't know if he had a pit still, but I know Larson. All I know is Larson, luckily, because of all the mistakes and things happened that Larson pitted so much that he was good enough on fuel that he could have ran long. So technically he would have been on older tires, but would have been by, I don't know how many seconds he would have had over, Briscoe and Hamlin. So it could have been really interesting. Could have been like a fuel saving strategy end of this race with, a guy on old tires and saving fuel versus a guy that's good on fuel and has newer tires. Could have been kind of a fun, see how it all played out, but it never played out with a caution. We had the guys that didn't pit before that caution. They came down and pit and the restart. It was Keselowski chose to stay out. Older tires, he got blew by. Hamlin turn 1. Briscoe trying to go on the outside of Keselowski to try to build some momentum. Was not enough. Hamlin cleared and set sail for the final 25 laps to get the W. Excuse me. So, trying to think where we all go with this. Because I want to talk about playoff drivers. I feel like I got to talk about the playoff drivers while talking about some of their incidents. So we'll start with the simple guys, the guys that, Hamlin was first, Briscoe was second, Chase Elliott finished third. Chase Elliott had a very eventful stage 1. He got into Josh Berry when they were 3 wide. He was bottom, Berry was middle, SVG was third. He got into Berry and spun Berry, and Berry crashed, and his day was over. And Berry crashed at Darlington, so Berry was looking for a good run. Well, Berry never got that chance. Berry finished last. Now Josh Berry's like minus 45 to the cut line. He's going to need a win. Berry was definitely frustrated, especially, Berry actually was the one that subbed in for Chase Elliott when Chase Elliott was hurt. kind of Barry is very close knit with the Hendrick, motorsports team. Now he's a Ford guy, but he knows those guys very well. And to get raced like Elliott like that and get wrecked, of course, it's probably hard to take an apology from Chase Elliott. Now, Chase Elliott did talk that he did apologize in his post-race press conference, not press conference, but media availability or interview, that he wished he had that one back. Elliott came home P3, but the guy he wrecked came home last. So gotta be frustrating for Barry, and I think Elliott definitely wish he had that one back. Definitely not a great look for Elliott, but you're 3 wide, but still, it's if you're under someone, it's your responsibility not to wash up into them. And in this case, Elliott got into the 21. Ryan Blaney finished 4th. A solid day for Blaney. The guy who was really dominant last year, he ran well. The Team Penske as a whole, Logano finished 5th. Cindric finished 19th. For the team that is considered this is one of their best tracks. They didn't really look as good. Still, Logano, Blaney looked really well. Blaney is plus 42 to the cut line. Logano's plus 21. Cindric is plus 11. They're all above the cut line. I would say Blaney is the safest. Logano and Cindric are still in that danger zone. I know Logano, I think in his post-race meeting, Valley said that right now it's going to be hard to beat the Toyotas. That the Toyotas are looking better than they've looked in years past because we always talk about how the Fords. I would say I still wouldn't say it's all Toyotas. I think we have to wait to see how the round of 8. Well, we got to see with New Hampshire because I know Christopher Bell said that at New Hampshire the tire test Logano looked better than Bell, faster than Bell. We still have Martinsville in the round of 8, which will be the very important race. Like if Blaney doesn't come there with the fastest car, and then I think Logano's comments about Toyota being the favorites to win this championship will end up being, true or being accurate. But yeah, I guess you could just say for Team Penske as a whole, coming out of this weekend with all guys in the plus, you have to feel good. But it's Bristol coming up next, and anything can happen at Bristol. Now, Christopher Bell came home 7th. Christopher Bell is plus 32. Christopher Bell, where did he finish in these stages? He finished top 10 in stage 1, and he finished top 5 in stage 2. And then he also finished top 10. So, a good day for Christopher Bell, but Christopher Bell was not that happy. He actually was very frustrated on the radio. He crossed the finish line. This is what he said from Joseph Strigley. We are just effing ran 7th. We just ran effing 7th with the best car on the track. Every effing week, it's the same S. We're the last car to pit road. I'm over it. Christopher Bell is not happy. And look, I don't know. He brings out how they were last on pit road every time. I think he talks about just the slow stops. And, when you're Joker's racing, that 20 pit crew is a very good pit crew. But just some slow stops. Track position was important. Getting behind. I don't know. I don't think that his pit stops were really talked much about on the broadcast. So I don't remember seeing how bad the pit stops were. But to Bell, they were not good. And yeah, I think if you're Bell, Bell was probably the most dominant car last year here, and comes here and he looked like he was in a good car, but bad pit stops, you lose with track position, you're always having to work back, trying to regain everything you already had. That's got to be frustrating for Bell, especially if you're the driver and you're driving this thing, this thing's a winning car, and you come home 7th. Still a good run. He's good in the playoff points, but to Bell, it's a missed opportunity to go out here and get a win, especially when your two teammates, Chase Briscoe and Denny Hamlin, are locked into the next round. We keep moving on to some more playoff guys, Bubba Wallace guys. Let's talk about Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. Bubba Wallace comes home 8th. Reddick comes home 16th. Wallace is plus 50 above the cut line. And Tyler Reddick is plus 37. This is looking really good for 2011 as a whole. I think Bubba Wallace is sitting really, really good. Reddick is still in that position where he would have wrecked out early in Bristol that, could still be a threat to get eliminated, but it's sitting really well. Bubba had a really good day. He was leading laps. I mean, he led Bill Wallace led the second most laps in 73 laps, ran really well. He won stage 2, man. This is a really good start to Bubba Wallace, man. Really good for him. I think Bubba Wallace is easily a round of 8 guy. If he continues to run this, they bring this type of speed, he's a well capable driver. I'm a little disappointed in Reddick finishing P16. That's not bad. Not bad at all. But still, just we're always talking about how Reddick's the guy. He's the top guy. But now this year, I think we're starting to see that Wallace is the guy. Wallace is the leader now. So it's interesting. But we'll see how that. We're interested to see how that plays out. As long as both make it to the round of 12. But right now, I think with everything going on in 2011, it's looking really, really good for them. Let's keep moving down the line here. William Byron, a quiet day at P11. I don't even know where he all finished here. Byron finished top 5 in stage 1. Didn't finish top 10 in stage 2. But Byron is plus 39, so still sitting pretty well going to Bristol, which Hendrick runs pretty well at Bristol. With the next, Kyle Larson finished P12. Didn't bring this up when we were talking about Ryan Blaney, but Larson and Blaney were having a great battle, racing really hard side by side. Well, Blaney's running the higher line here at Gateway, and Larson's running the bottom. Well, Larson kind of washes up towards the 12. Looks like he's trying to side draft him. Well, just side drafts him a little too much and spins the 12. Gets into the rear quarter panel on the driver's side door, and around goes Ryan Blaney. Ryan Blaney was mad, livid. They did talk post-race. It seemed like, of course, Larson apologized. I think even Larson said that if Blaney chooses to retaliate, that's fine. He understands. I think also I heard that Blaney says he'll remember this one. So, for Larson, the guy that's gets talked about all the time as the best driver in the world, he still makes a lot of mistakes. Like surprisingly for him. But, Larson, I thought, was the most dominant car in this race. He finished second in stage 1 after being the most dominant car. Some cautions didn't cycle his way to keep the lead and keep control in the pit and all that. And Briscoe held him off on older tires. But then he was running second. He was in the second lane. The second car in the outside lane. Wallace was leading. I also really didn't bring this up with Wallace at all, but Wallace wasn't really able to get going. Stacked that lane up. Wallace had fifth gear. Had some gear issues when I was hearing. Larson, I guess, got some damage or whatever happened with his diffuser flap deployed. It came out. So they go down a pit road, and I'm not sure they noticed this in the first pit stop or when they came back around to actually then fix it the second time around. So he lost all his track position and had to start in the back and work his way to the front. Now, luckily, with all that, he was actually able to then run the whole way to the end. That's where we saw how Hamlin, Logano, a couple other guys had to pit there. It could have been interesting there if, it ran green where Larson was saving on older tires, and you have guys like, Hamlin and Logano and Briscoe that are on newer tires and don't have to save fuel. It could have been interesting there. Had it all played out, but it didn't work out with a late race caution. Larson pits, loses all that track position, and finishes P12. But Larson's still, after all that talking, plus 60, sitting really, really well, pretty much locked up. He'll if he goes and wins and finishes top 10, and if he wins stage 1 at Bristol because he's so good at Bristol, he'll probably be locked up after stage 1 at Bristol where he is on points. The next driver, Austin Dillon, finishing P18. This guy, I think, called out and said how terrible the car was. It was like a S-box, whatever, some harsh words. Comes home with P18. He's, I think he's minus 10 or minus 11 to the cut line. Yeah, minus 11, so not bad for RCR, man. They're still within reach. Going to Bristol, new tire. Who knows what's going to happen there? He got into his brother Ty Dillon there, spun him around. So it was a little eventful start of the race for Austin Dillon, but for RCR standards, not bad. We already talked about Austin Cindric. Now we're going to talk about SVG here and Ross Chastain as a whole. I don't think any of them finished top 10 in the stages. I know I saw SVG trying some strategy there, like taking 2 tires and whatever. It seemed like tires didn't matter enough. If you were on older tires compared to the cars around you, you were going to fall like a rock on restarts. And that's what happened to SVG a good bit. Just a poor day for Trackhouse as a whole. Now, I know a lot of people were talking on social media post-race or on the cool-down laps or going down the pit road lane there, coming into the main pit road, and you saw both Trackhouse cars go into the grass, and people were wondering why they were doing this. Was there something illegal in the underbody of their cars? Whatever. Well, according to Joel, I guess cleared it up and says it's actually a trick that you do to maybe you get a couple rocks in your up in your car and get stuck in your car and add some weight to the car. It's like a strategy for post-race tech. That's what LaJoy said. He's raced the Cup car. Kind of hilarious, though. And the videos look hilarious because, I mean, you see the one car, and we already know the way Ross Chastain is, as aggressive driver. He goes fully in the grass, and the SVG does like halfway in the grass. It was pretty hilarious. But when it comes to, the playoff standings, Ross Chastain's plus 19, not safe at all. And then Shane Van Gisbergen is minus 15. Both those guys are going to have really good days to survive. Because who knows with, Alex Bowman being good at Bristol. Who knows about Josh Berry, right? And also Austin Cindric could be well there. Trackhouse is going to have a really good day. There's a chance that both of those guys could be eliminated after Bristol. But we'll see how it all plays out. And then Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman finishing P26, man. This has just been a really terrible first 2 races for the 48 team. Just poor execution, a bad pit stop at Darlington, ended his day from just competitiveness. I don't even know if they had the speed there. Darlington as a whole for Hendrick was not a good day. But then here, he had a terrible pit stop near the end of stage 2 where the jack went down, but they actually still had to get the right rear, like I would have said, the left rear tire on. It wasn't even on it. So they jacked the car back up, had some struggle getting the thing back up, get the jack back under, get the jack back under that thing. And then I think Alex Bowman spent on pit road twice. He was near the end, the section near the end of the pit road. So just mistakes on pit road, mistakes by the driver. I don't even know. I mean, he was running top 10 before that caution that came out near the end of stage 2 when they had pit stop. So I think if they had a clean day, he would have been a top 10 guy. Would have been sitting a lot better. But now he's sitting in minus 35. Gonna need to go out there and win. I had Alex Bowman moving on. Hendrick Motorsports. We're talking about Hendrick Motorsports here, and it's kind of, I guess, a little surprising to see how bad they have performed. But I think a lot of the performance has been more on self-inflicting. It's not about the speed. Now we can say Darlington was probably even though they had a terrible day on pit road, that they really didn't have the speed there. Here at Gateway, swinging on pit road, and then a bad pit stop. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, look, Alex Bowman's a solid race car driver, and Bristol's a great track for Hendrick. So who knows? Could Alex Bowman go in there and go win that thing? That would be pretty awesome and pretty well. I wouldn't say it's pretty awesome. I can't show favoritism here. It'd be pretty incredible and pretty insane if he would go do that, especially with how bad their playoffs, especially that round of 16 has been for them. And then we talk about Josh Berry, just a really poor 2 races, getting in wrecks, finishing last. Really disappointing for him, but hey, Bristol, he's run well at Bristol before in this car. We're bringing a new tire, so who knows what's going to happen. Bristol could be wild, that's what the drivers are hoping it will be. I'll just want to look at some of our top 10 finishers. Some notable guys. John Hunter Nemechek finishing 6th. Man, another top 10 day for John Hunter Nemechek. Back-to-back top 5s, top 6s, I guess I should say. Chris Buescher finishing 9th. Ty Gibbs finishing 10th. Ryan Preece 13th. Michael McDowell 14th. Carson Osvar 15th. Brian Goslowski 17th. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. 20th, Eric Jones 21st, Kyle Busch 22nd, A.J. Allmendinger 23rd, Cole Custer 27, Justin Haley 28th, 29th Cody Ware, 30th Noah Gregson, 31st Riley Herbst, 32nd Ty Gillen, 33rd Zane Smith, 34th Ty Dillon, 35th Daniel Suarez. Chase Briscoe won stage 1, Bubba Wallace won stage 2. Really, congrats to Hamlin again. Trying to make sure I'm not missing anything here. Good guys, it's going to be fun to see how Bristol plays out there. They're saying they're bringing a new right side tire. They're bringing a new tire either left or right. We were all hyped up. It seems like Bristol can be a tire, a temperature sensitive track with concrete. So we're definitely hope that we get some tire wear because last year's Bristol night race, Bass Pro Shops night race, I was there with my dad, and it was dreadful. It was boring. I'll be honest. Not even with Larson dominating, it was just there was nothing else going on. And what really proved to me that it was a terrible race was when Martin Truex was running second most of the race, had a speeding penalty, and then was in the back, and then actually got lapped by Larson. So that right there told me it was a bad race. And look, I know fans are still frustrated with the car, dirty air. I'm frustrated with it, but there's only so much I can do. I'm going to enjoy what we have right now, and I'm going to do my best to talk about what we got right now. Because I think it was still, the playoffs have been compelling for sure. Now I know the TV ratings were not that great for Darlington this past week. 1.8 million viewers when there was no NFL football on. There was some college football on, not any big games. That's not a great look, especially when NASCAR always likes to say that the playoffs are the ones that's good for TV. It drives ratings. That's why the TV partners like it. I'll be worried if we don't see over 2 million viewers. I'll be a little bit worried because I think we should easily hit 2 million viewers for a playoff race. And I know NFL football is coming, but who knows? Why are we having lower TV ratings? Is it no one likes the playoffs? Is it the car? Right? What is it? Is it the track? I can't be the driver personalities. I don't know. Why are we seeing these TV ratings? That's what I want to know. All right. I say a lot, but Connor Zilisch gets the win in Xfinty Series race. He wraps up the regular season championship. He'll be number 1 in the playoffs. He'll have a plus 59 lead over the playoffs. Really, what Zilisch is doing, 9 wins this season. Technically, you can count 10 because Connor Zilisch started the car in Daytona by NASCAR rules. Whatever points that the standby driver gets, it goes to Zilisch. So that win technically counts towards Zilisch, I believe. With Parker Clayman winning that race in Daytona. This race was it was fun. A lot of late race restarts there for Zilisch trying to rebound from. It was Justin Allgaier I thought was maybe even better than Connor Zilisch there, but then he got a speeding penalty by him, and then he was working his way back to the front in a massive pile up in turn 1. Who was all involved? I'm trying to make sure. It was Allgaier, Sam Mayer, Dean Thompson, Nick Sanchez, Sheldon Creed, Kyle Sieg, Ryan Sieg. Bunch of torn up race cars there. Look, man, when it comes to this championship battle, we look at the playoff standings. Zilisch is plus 59, Allgaier plus 30, Sam Mayer plus 11, Jesse Love plus 8, Brandon Jones plus 8 as well, Sammy Smith plus 4, Nick Sanchez plus 1, Carson Wampel plus 0, tied for the last spot. Taylor Gray minus 0, Sheldon Creed minus 2, Harrison Burton minus 3, and Austin Hill minus 5. If I were to give you guys my first, what is it? How many guys get eliminated? Is it 4? 1, 2, 4 guys. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be hard. Man, I really. I think I'm gonna go. Taylor Gray will be out. I think Harrison Burton will be out. I want to say Austin Hill, man, but I think he's gonna point himself in. I'm gonna go with Brandon Jones will be out. So Taylor Gray, Harrison Burton, Brandon Jones. And I guess I'm gonna go with Nick Sanchez because I think Hale makes it through. But I think Kwapalo's tied for the last spot is just a really consistent guy. He's been one of the best consistent guys this year, so I think he makes it. So Nick Sanchez will be eliminated. Taylor Gray, Harrison Burton, and Brandon Jones will be my 4 eliminated in the round of 12 of the NASCAR Xfinity Series. It should be exciting. Bristol is always puts on a good show for the Xfinity Series car, so that will be fun. I thought the race was good for Xfinity Series race. A lot of good, multi-grid racing, ability to pass was really fun. So excited to see, how this play out. I think you definitely gotta I think Connor Zilisch makes it to that Final Four. I think you look at Justin Allgaier makes the Final Four. I'm gonna put Sam Mayer makes it to the Final Four, and in that final spot, I could see Justin Love. I also could see Carson Kwapalo just on consistency, but also Austin Hill. You never know. Even though he's so low in points, man, if he gets through this round, you got Talladega. He's one of the best there, man. So I'm going to give you my 4 will be Connor Zilisch, Justin Allgaier, Sam Mayer. And I'm going to go Austin Hill. I think he makes it. He's going to have a lot of work to do, but I think they're going to have a rocket ship for him. I think he's going to have a lot of motivation, because RCR feels like they've been mistreated by NASCAR. So should be fun, guys. That's kind of the podcast. I'll talk about the playoff standings closer down the road here. We kind of talk about each driver, where they have to go here. Well, guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast. I pre-recorded some content, some news this past weekend, so hopefully get some of that out. Stay tuned to more content. Try to stay a little more consistent on that content. But overall, guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast, and I'll see you guys next week after Bristol, baby. Let's go. Have a good week, y'all. Bye.